Thúy is dead, Auntie Two. The shrill cry of little Teo struck Auntie Two like a bolt of lightning. She shook her husband awake, her voice sharp with alarm. Which Thúy are you talking about, Teo? Why, the daughter of old Tam across the canal. Who else could it be, Auntie? At his words, Auntie Two staggered in shock. How could Thúy be dead? I just saw her yesterday, alive and well. Teo was already standing inside the house. They say she drank pesticide to kill herself. People rushed her to the clinic, but they've already brought her body back. Uncle Two grabbed his cane and hurried outside, not even stopping to fix the shirt he had buttoned wrong. Poor girl. I told Tam already there was nothing wrong with the youngsters loving each other, yet he kept making it hard for them. Now it's come to this, and regret won't bring her back, wife. Auntie Two spat out the quid of beetle in her mouth and called after him, go see how things are. I'll call the children home to watch the house, then follow after. Poor girl. Though she spoke bravely, Auntie Two trembled inside. Her intuition told her that something terrible had befallen Thúy. Poor girl and poor Quý, who loved her so deeply. It was the old curse of status and family match. The two households, once close friends, had turned sour when it came to the children's marriage. As neighbors they got along, but when talk of wedding ties arose, discord followed. Such was life. Friendship was easy, but becoming in-laws often proved impossible. Across the canal, old Tam had his fourth daughter, Thúy, a virtuous girl, admired by the entire hamlet. On the opposite bank lived old Nam, who often came by. Over time the two elders became as close as brothers. Cups of tea, bowls of rice wine shared until their bond felt like kinship. Old Nam's eldest son, Quý, was strong and skilled in the fields. He often waded into the paddies to catch fish, bringing home meals for the family. Now and then, when fortune favored him with a large catch, he would carry one across to Tam's house as a token of respect for his father's friend. As time passed, Quý found himself drawn to Thúy's charm so much so that he could not recall when fondness turned to love. The two often met in the fields, catching shrimp together with bamboo traps or casting nets side by side. A young man and woman, spending so much time together it was only natural their bond grew tighter, as if they were already betrothed. The villagers looked on with admiration, praising the match as equal and well-suited. Many whispered that a wedding feast was surely near. But when their love was discovered, reactions split. Old Nam, Quý father, was confident there would be no obstacle. Old Tam, however, thought differently. How could his daughter be given to a mere farmhand? If she were to marry, it should be to someone of higher standing or even an overseas Viet Kieu, worthy of a daughter so lovely and virtuous. At first, old Nam came again and again to plead with the girl's family, but they refused to agree to the match. Later, when the matter became known, even Uncle Two and his wife added their voices in support but still to no avail. The dispute dragged on for years without resolution, wearing both Thúy and Quý down until they grew thin and haggard with worry. Outwardly, old Tam remained firm, but as time passed and no better suitors appeared, and with his daughter growing older, he began to soften. When word spread through the village, everyone rejoiced, believing at last the matter would come to a happy end. But just then, old Nam, wounded in his pride, stopped visiting altogether. He no longer came to speak, no longer made any proposal. The brotherly bond of the two families frayed, leaving both sides saddened. Thúy, heartsick for Quý, wept until her eyes were swollen, her body growing frail and thin. All the bright hopes of the young couple burst like soap bubbles, gone in an instant. From then on, the two households no longer visited as before. Quý, sunk in despair, sometimes sought comfort in drink. Thúy suffered even more, wasting away day by day. The fragile hope in their hearts dimmed steadily, fading to nothing. Night after night, Quý mournful music drifted from the head of the village, carrying his sorrow on every note so haunting that even the villagers, listening in silence, felt tears well in their eyes. But after the deaths of the young couple, the two families only grew more bitter. Old Tam's household blamed the other side for egging them on. Old Nam's family accused Tam of cruelty and heartlessness. What had once been friendship turned to enmity when they met. They no longer even exchanged glances. Night after night, villagers heard weeping rise from the canal bank, where two fresh graves lay side by side. The cries drifted near, then far, mournful and eerie enough to chill the bone. Some who passed the market road at night swore they saw a white figure lingering near the mounds, long hair streaming in the wind. Terror spread, and soon no one dared walk that way after dark. Not long after, the village built a bamboo bridge across the canal to ease travel. By misfortune, the bridge was set right where the two graves lay. At night, the wind whispered through its planks, sounding like the cries of mourners. Those crossing felt their hair stand on end and hurried past in fear. Once, a group of young men returning drunk late at night swore they heard their own names called as they crossed. Their souls nearly fled their bodies. They dropped their baskets of fish and fled in terror. From then on, word spread, the restless spirits of the young lovers haunted that place, and the rumors grew ever darker. As time passed, grass grew thick and green over the two graves. One day, villagers noticed a bindweed vine sprouting from Thúy's mound, its tender leaves fresh and bright. From Quý grave, another vine appeared. The two creepers stretched outward, winding across the ground until they entwined upon the bridge. Day by day they grew denser, tangled together, blooming with clusters of purple flowers. When the villagers beheld the sight, their eyes brimmed with tears. They said, if in life they could not be husband and wife, then in the afterworld they have finally been united. Those bindweed vines are proof of a love tragic, yet steadfast to the very end.